Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Kanawha Valley. We begin our service with the ringing of the bell and the lighting of the Christ candle. We ring the bell and we light the candle as a reminder of the light of the divine that shines in each and every one of us. So we begin our service this morning with our opening statement, which you will find on the inside of your bulletin. So let's say that together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the good, omnipotent. And sit with that truth for just a moment. And then repeat it with me once more. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the good, omnipotent. And so it is. Our songs this morning are led by Ron and accompanied by Jeff. And is John? Later. And John will come up later. Okay, very good.
Good morning. Would you please stand? We'll sing Surely the Presence right inside your front cover. Surely the presence of our God is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on his face. Surely the presence of our God is in this place. Surely the presence of our God is in this place. I can feel her mighty power and her grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on his face. Surely the presence of our God is in this place. Number 235.
because I think it says it all. Oh, we are so glad that you're here with us today, whether you're here in person or on Zoom. Thank you for sharing your energy with us. For announcements, if you would like to continue the service after it officially ends here, you can go to the Zoom app and just punch in the church phone number as the meeting ID, and as a password, type in 1111, and you can join the after party. That the Zoomers always have a lively discussion afterwards, and we are welcome to join them. On Thursday nights, also on Zoom, is a book study group that is at 8 o'clock. Barbie's Unravel group will meet next Tuesday at 5:15. And We Can Climb is a sponsored hike for WV Can, which is the Child Advocacy Network. This will take place on September 30th. There are registration forms right up here. And if you fill one out and give it to Pam, the church is covering the registration fee. And it's a great time for us to get together and not just walk for a good cause, or you can run. There's a 5K run or a 2.5-mile trail hike. You can participate in either one. I'm sorry, Laura? Or, Oh, yeah, and you get a T-shirt, too. Oh, yes. And if you're participating, wear your Unity T-shirt, so to make our name known out in the community. But we had a lot of fun last year, and I'm looking forward to it again this year. Our lovely Kate Butcher has donated a piece of art, and I'm going to read you the poem that is contained on this art. It says, "A poem about God. It can seem like an old man with a long beard, or the woods, or a woman, or art, or time, or stars. But it is really an old woman with a long beard in the woods making art out of time with stars." So that's a beautiful, beautiful poem. We're going to hang this. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Here you go. I don't know if you can see it better now, but we're going to hang this over the white bench as soon as we can figure out how to do that. And we thank Kate for sharing that with us. Thank you. And Ron, I understand you have an announcement to make?
Real quickly, tonight at Slack Plaza, whatever City Park, whatever it's called these days, I've been invited to be a part of a group that we're going to do a sing-along. So if you want to come out and sing, my friend Julie Adams asked me to do it, and I've asked my friend John to come along with us. But there'll be lyrics provided on the screen and on your phone, and my friend Julie says it's a hippie sing-along, so you'll know all the songs already. And so from 7 to 9 at Slack Plaza at City Park. Thank you.
Great, that sounds like a lot of fun. And it's my understanding next week Sky will be back. So if you missed him, he will be back next week. Yes. Okay, well, that's all the announcements I have, so I'm going to turn it over to Sally for our welcome.
Hello, everyone. It's a beautiful morning, isn't it? It's great. Have you noticed all of our beautiful flowers? Yes, our property is looking very, very nice lately. We've taken down a couple of trees, you've probably noticed, so the sanctuary is a lot brighter than it used to be. And everything, the nice driveway, looks good. We have lines on it. You can park your car accordingly. Everything's good. Yes. So the board, my name again is Sally Snyder, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees, and I'm also a prayer chaplain here with Unity. And I am the prayer chaplain today, so if any of you need to have a one-on-one I'd be glad to spend some time with you up here or in the back, wherever you feel comfortable. And all of us prayer chaplains are available to you anytime you need us. We have a telephone number you can call. So please, use us. We want to be used, okay? We want to be there for you. We appreciate you. We really do. Unity is a pretty unique place. We come together to celebrate love and wisdom in its many forms. Many of us have committed to practicing the spirituality of Jesus, who taught with his words and his actions a universal love for everyone and for everything. Unity promotes the idea that the light of God, the spirit of love, is within you, and that by practicing going within, you can discover this love, which is at the source of all life and love and everything in the universe. We gather together every Sunday to affirm our connection to this love and to support each other in our unique spiritual journeys. It is my hope that you will know that you are welcome here just as you are, that you are free to be yourself and to believe whatever makes sense to you. While you are here, we invite you to take what works and leave the rest. That's all we ask. Today, we'll be looking at the theme, the prayer of protection, which will be given by Peggy Gunther. Affirmative prayer is a central part of what we are here for. So right now, let's do that. Would you soften your gaze, let yourself smile, and say to yourself, I am a fountain of love. Love flows out of me. Imagine you are holding someone you love. Look them in the eye. Let your gratitude for them fill your heart. And say, thank you for teaching me how to love. Now, if you would, please stand up. I'm not going to ask you to balance on one foot because I can't even do that. And I've been going to working out with a trainer for 3 years, and he still can't get me to stand on one foot. Okay. So, would you yawn, stretch, and turn to someone and tell them, thank you for loving me today.
Check, check.
Thank you. It feels good to have a hug, doesn't it? We don't get enough of them. Those of us who live alone and have no one to help us and to care about us, it's nice to come to church, to Unity, and get a hug. Good. All right. As I'm closing, I want to encourage you to spend some time in silence today and to remind you that God is your source. The pen is in your hand, and the day is dawning for us all. Now, I am going to give the meditation as well today, and I'm going to go over here and sit down because it's easier for me to do this. Today's meditation is to become less anxious, to learn how to be quiet in your body and feel your body. You don't always feel your body when your mind is going 100 miles an hour. I know a lot of people who get hurt because their mind is spinning and their body's traveling behind them, and they trip and they fall and they hurt themselves, and that's not good. We don't want anybody physically hurt, but you have to slow your mind down. You have to relax and give yourself a chance to learn to live and feel your body in this space. I want you to start by taking slow, deep breaths. Do 3 in a row. And now, as you notice your breath, as you look upon your breath with wonder and awe, notice also a warm sensation of gratitude arising in your heart. Continue to watch the breath, and as you let this warmth or this light of gratitude grow and expand, breathe in, breathe out, relax. Feel your body in the seat, your fingers, your toes, your arms, your legs, your shoulders. Let them rest. And as this gratitude grows for your body, feel it embracing or enveloping the heart itself. And intentionally draw awareness to your heart and your heartbeat. Feel or hear your heartbeat. Or just visualize, imagine, trust that it's there. And look upon the heart with the same sense of wonder and awe that you recognize with your breath. Your heart and your lungs work together. By breathing deeply and listening to your heart, you can feel your body. Slow your mind down to where all you hear and feel is your breath and your heart beating. Relax. Recognize how special and precious your heartbeat is. Now feel the warm sensation of gratitude within your heart. Grow and expand throughout your whole body. Let this light of gratitude fill your whole torso, your arms and legs, and your head, as you look upon the whole body with wonder and awe. Grateful for breath, grateful for the heartbeat, and grateful for this wonderful, functioning, protective, and useful shell through which you can experience all the joy, beauty, and amazement in this world. Feel now your entire body filled with warmth and light, full of gratitude and thankfulness, appreciative of all the small joys and perhaps the big ones as well. Rest for as long as you would like in awe of this one precious moment and all the gifts you've been giving. Let yourself feel full and complete, full of gratitude, full of awe. There's nothing else you need right now except to remain open and aware of the love for your body and for the world of which you live. And so it is. Amen.
The daily word today is understanding. One of the best ways to remain calm in any agitating circumstance is to practice understanding. Seeking to understand gives me information and insight and eases my reactivity. It keeps my emotional thermostat dialed down if I'm tempted to lose my cool. Perhaps Kipling was referring to understanding in his poem, If, when he wrote of the importance of keeping your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. Properly mastered, my power of understanding gives me the strength and presence of mind to be a beacon in times of trouble and crisis. Whatever this day may bring, I will carry the light of understanding with me. I am cool in spirit. I am understanding. One who is cool in spirit has understanding. Proverbs 17:27.
Well, this morning, we've got a visit from my dear friend, John Wickstrom, and John. And those of you, those of you who've heard me many times, and if I'm playing an original song, there's about a 90% chance that John co-wrote that song. And since he's here this morning, I have to give him credit for it. Usually I just say, is John Wickstrom in the house? And that's, okay, well, I wrote this song all by myself. But anyway.
I have long suspected that.
It's true. He's here to visit, and also we're working on my new album. So we're sorting through the songs that we wrote over the COVID years, the black hole. You remember that? But anyway, John's gonna do the songs this morning, and Jeff and I are gonna help. So let's give a big hand for John Wickstrom.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Ron and I had weekly meetings during the lockdown, and we wrote a bunch of new songs, and we thought perhaps we should do something with those. But finally. We were talking about the prayer for protection, theme of protection, what might be a good song to sing. So this is the genesis of this song. It came to me, but Ron and I have wrote this together. I was thinking about my daughter at the time. I have a son, 25, Jackson. I have a daughter, now 22, Olivia. And Olivia was off at college. She had had a lot of anxiety. There had been some issues at her high school, some dangerous things that happened. And I just, as all of us parents, or all of us who have loved ones, which is all of us, we think, how can we protect each other? How can we protect our little ones? And I realized, so I've been praying for protection long before I ever heard about the prayer for protection. Because, I can't protect them in my home, really. You try. You know, I can't protect her at school. She's in Europe right now. Lord knows. I don't know. It's like, so thank God for prayers for protection. But it led to another thought, a further thought, which was, what do I really want for her and my son and for Ron and for all of you and for myself? What do we, so this sort of almost underlies protection, or is like, goes beyond or around it. I don't know. I'm out of words. But this was started as a prayer. Ron and I had a wonderful time writing it. It is called At Home in the World. 1, 2. Turn my guitar up. That's right. You might wish for houses, money, and cars, and you might want the whole world to know who you are. And you can have all those things, it's true. But there's so much more I want for you. Hoping you're at peace in your heart, safe in your house, at ease in the body you own, in a family of friends, loved as you are, at home in the world. And someday, when everything's falling apart and it feels like life is only breaking your heart, before those walls crashing on you, there's always one thing you can do. Know that you're at peace in your heart, safe in your house, at ease in the body you own, in a family of friends, loved as you are, at home in the world. At home in the
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ooh. Well, as I mentioned earlier, Sky will be here next week. But today, we have a very wonderful guest speaker who I often call the face of Unity, because anyone who comes here even once knows Peggy Gunter. So today she's going to talk to us about the prayer of protection. So please help me welcome our very own Peggy Gunter.
Takes a while. Takes a while to turn myself on. Good morning. Can you hear me there in the back? How is everybody? I love that song. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. Well, I have been watching Janet for a long time, how she does this, because she's always so at ease and I'm always so, you know. But I'm going to tell you something, and I know you're not supposed to gossip, but you won't tell anybody, will you? Janet was the prayer chaplain for this particular day, and she called Danny Blair, and she said, Danny, is there anything I can pray for you about, pray with you? I think I'm getting some feedback. No? And Danny said, well, yeah, Janet, actually there is. He said, you could pray for my hearing. So she said, oh, well, okay, I'll be happy to do that, as Janet always so graciously does. And she prayed for Danny's hearing, that everything would be okay, and every good thing that she could think about, she wanted for Danny. So she got finished with her little prayer, and she said, okay, Danny, how'd that go? How's your hearing? He said, well, I don't know, Janet. It's not till next week. Okay. I think I'll use my iPad. If my talk's still in here. There it is. Come on, buddy. Okay. Good morning. My subject today is something at the very heart of the unity movement, the prayer for protection. Coming up on Wednesday, September 13th, is Unity's World Day of Prayer. And this is the day that Unity sets aside every year to concentrate our energies on affirmative prayer. As we prepare for the upcoming World Day of Prayer, I'd like to focus today on what is probably the best known prayer in the Unity movement. It is also one that we close our service with here every week, the prayer for protection. Since James Dillett Freeman wrote its first draft in 1940, the prayer for protection has been one of the most repeated and impactful lines of prayer verse in the English language. To give you a little background, Reverend James Dillett Freeman, born 1912, died 2003, was an internationally acclaimed poet, author, and lecturer. He also was known as the Poet Laureate of Unity. He wrote The Story of Unity, and many of his poems and writings were collected in the 2004 book, Angels Sing in Me. Reverend Freeman tells how World War II led him to write one of the most beloved prayers of our time. The prayer for protection is known the world over, and Unity is often asked how it came into existence. James Dillett Freeman explained once in his Unity magazine column, Life is a Wonder. Freeman writes, let me tell you how I wrote Unity's prayer for protection. When World War II was raging in Europe, we received many letters and phone calls from people caught in the conflict. But for a long time, we didn't have a prayer for protection that we were satisfied with. And this is how one came about. Silent Unity has always written a special Christmas prayer service just for Silent Unity workers. And in 1940, I was asked to prepare this service, not me, James Dillett Freeman. I wasn't even born then. We had never before needed a prayer for protection, but in 1940, with World War II going full blast, we certainly needed one then. So I wrote one to go with the Christmas service. What I wrote was a little 4-line verse. And you all know this, the light of Christ, well, not this portion, was the predecessor of what we say, but this was the very first one. The light of Christ directs me, the love of Christ enfolds me, the power of Christ protects me, the presence of Christ upholds me. So it was a rhyme. Reverend Freeman had hardly finished his Christmas service before Silent Unity came to him again and asked him to write a protection pamphlet that they could send to people. He did. It was called His Protecting Spirit. They told him they wanted affirmative prayers for protection on the back page. Among these was the verse from the 23rd Psalm, which we all know. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. One of the young women who worked in Silent Unity was reading his manuscript as he wrote it. And as she finished it, she came up to him and said, Jim, if I were a woman in England and they were dropping bombs on my roof, or if I were a soldier and someone was pointing a loaded gun at me, I wouldn't want to feel like I was walking through the valley of the shadow of death. Can't you do better than that? Freeman said he thought, you want me to do better than the 23rd Psalm? You have to be out of your mind. But rolling around in the back of his mind was the little verse he had written as a prayer for protection at Christmas. He had written it just for Silent Unity, but now it came back to him and demanded that he pay attention to it, and so he did. First, he took the rhymes from it. He thought it would be more universally received if it wasn't a rhyme. Then he changed the word Christ to God. It had been Christ because it was a Christmas prayer, but he felt it was going to be, if it was going to be sent around the world, God might be more acceptable to more people. So the little prayer became, the light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. And that's how it was first printed. Then a line came to him that would make the prayer even more powerful. And that line was, "And all, wherever I am, God is." So this was added as the 5th line. The prayer for protection first appeared as a 4-line prayer in 1941, but when it was reprinted in 1943, it appeared in the 5-line format it has had ever since. And I'm not going to repeat it again because you know what we say. Often those who recite the prayer add an additional line, "and all is well." This line was added after Freeman's death. It's not a recorded part of the prayer that Freeman wrote. And this prayer has become an important part of our Sunday service here at Unity. And I'm sure it means as much to you as it does to me. The prayer for protection has 5 lines or phrases, and this is what it means to me, phrase by phrase. As we say it, the first phrase is, "The light of God surrounds me." God is light. That light that God is shines in each and every one of us if we let it. One of the first songs I ever sang as a child was "This Little Light of Mine." I get a lot of head nods. We all know this song, or at least most of us do. It talks about the light that we let shine so that others can see the way. Maybe not everyone lets their light shine, but their way can be made a little bit brighter by those of us who do let our light shine. A song we sing regularly here at Unity is "God is light, that light surrounds us." The second phrase of the prayer is, "The love of God enfolds us." God is not only light. The light of the world would be a pretty cool thing to be, but we also have darkness. The dark night of the soul, the darkness we are shrouded in when we're sad, or the cloak of darkness when we try to hide from the world. God is with us, even in the darkness. God's Spirit, just like our spirit, is eternal and internal. God resides in our hearts and in our souls. God is that love that always enfolds us if we choose to let it. The third phrase is, "The power of God protects us." I don't consider myself a powerful person on my own, but when I invoke the power of God that is in and around each and every one of us, I can feel confident that God's power will see me through each and every situation, no matter the outcome. Inside, I've always felt like that little 5-year-old me that used to sing This Little Light of Mine. I've always felt protected by God's power. I believe that our time here on this plane is fleeting, and we're all here to learn something. I haven't figured out what is mine to learn, and maybe I won't even know until the end. But I do know one thing, and that is that God will always be with me, protecting me with his power every step of the way. The fourth phrase of the prayer for protection is, the presence of God watches over us. God is eternal. God is not a person, at least not for me. I believe God is the force that watches over the universe and keeps everything in perfect order. I'm not a rocket scientist, and I can't explain how all this works, but I just feel better when I put my trust in a divine plan. And the fifth and final phrase, wherever we are, God is. Isn't it a neat feeling to think of ourselves as being God's ambassadors? We carry God around with us everywhere we go. Anytime we help someone in need, or just do something because we feel it's the right thing to do, we are God's hands on earth. I remember my friend Ruth used to tell me that a favorite saying of a former UKV minister was, "I'm just doing God's work." And then all is well was added at the end. Some would argue that everything is not always well in this experience we are living, but the presence of God is one constant that never wavers. As a student of Unity and a member of UKV for the past 22 years, can't believe it's been that long, the prayer for protection has become dear to my heart in a very personal way. I have used it at many times of anxiety to calm my fears. For example, even as I started writing this lesson a few weeks ago, there was a severe thunderstorm and warning and a tornado watch in my area. I've always been a little fearful when scary situations arrive. But living alone after my husband passed and my children grew up, I've learned from necessity there's no one else I can depend on. I've had to put my big girl panties on and deal with things I would rather not have to deal with. It's at times like this that I always fall back on the prayer for protection and deep breathing. It eases my mind and calms me to know that no matter what situation I face, God's love, light, power, and presence are always with me. That realization got me through some really tough human experiences. Loss of loved ones, my parents, my husband, my daughter. Physical pain and injuries, financial setbacks, even having to seek guardianship of my 10-year-old granddaughter after her mom died and her dad was struggling to deal with that loss. It also gave me the courage to keep going when I doubted whether I could. Sometimes God speaks to us when we don't even know it is God. I think God has many ways of speaking to us, and not only in words that we hear with our ears. Sometimes God's message has nothing to do with words. I think God speaks to our hearts and minds. God is that still, small voice we hear when we become centered and silent. I believe that God is love and intelligence and life. More than anything we say God is, or even imagine God is, to me, God is the one universal presence and power, and is seeking to express truth, beauty, and good through all of us and for all of us. Unity Worldwide has printed a wonderful little book to mark the anniversary of this powerful prayer for protection. And please pick up one from the table over here if you like. And I really appreciate you being here for me today, not just for your support of this church that means so much to us, but also for the love you share with your UKV family. And now I'd like to close with a quote from John Lennon, who once said, "Everything will work out okay in the end, and if it's not okay, it's not the end." Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Peggy.
You're welcome.
If the ushers and the prayer chaplain would come forward for the offering blessing. Our tithe this month is going to a group called Pollinate, and they run the Cafe Appalachia over in South Charleston. If you haven't stopped in there for lunch, do that. It's a great experience, and we are proud to support them right now. So I will turn it over to Sally.
Thank you. Will you repeat after me? Divine love moving in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, I trust in God, and I am grateful.
All right, so, excuse me. I grew up in the Kanawha Valley down the East End on Virginia Street, so I don't know a lot about sailing ships and sailing vessels, but I was reading Jimmy Buffett's Tales from Margaritaville a long time ago, and he talked about running before the wind in his sailboat. He was running before the wind. Does anyone here? I had to look it up. Sailing was running before the wind. Do you feel like sharing? No? Right, exactly. The boat is going exactly in the direction of the wind, and so the sail, it's as fast as it can go, so I had to look that up. It's very cool. So you're on your way to your goal or your destination as fast as the wind can take you. At the same time, I was looking at the book Iron John by Robert Bly, and right in the first page, there's a quote from Anthony Machado. I don't know who that is, but it said this, "You, walker, there are no roads, only wind trails on the sea." I didn't know what that meant either, but it sort of got me excited and this song happened. So this is Run Before the Wind. You can ride the tour boats and join the pack. Take the well-worn trail. See all the tourist traps, fake treasure maps, and think you're setting sail. Or you could head on out to the open sea, lose sight of the land. Chart your course, take the wheel in your own hands, and run before the wind. All the sails full now. Find the life you dreamed about. You'll never pass this way again. Run before the wind. The sea swallows up your wake. The future's just a chance you wait till it journeys. Run before the wind. Sings, deep water rolls, the dolphins off your bow. Back on shore, they're safe and boy, but that's behind you now. Your port of call is anywhere you are, deep down in your heart. There's no good map, you'll have to steer by the stars. Run before the wind, all the sails full out. Find the life you've dreamed
dreamed about. You will never pass this way again. Run before the wind, the sea swallows up your wake. The future's just a chance you make till the journey ends. Run before the wind. Storms will blow and sirens sing and try to throw you off your path, but there's no turning back. Run before the wind, the sails full out. Find the life you dreamed about. You will pass this way again. Run before the wind, the sea swallows up your wake. The future's just a chance you make till the journey ends. Run before the wind.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh,
Thank you so much for having me.
wow. Will the prayer chaplains please return? We have a junior prayer chaplain there. Would you like to come forward too? Ushers, ushers. Yes, oh, nothing like children. I love them. All right. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, for all the blessings, all the gifts, all the time and treasures that the members of Unity of Kanawha Valley provide to help everyone in our community. And I would like to say a special prayer and think and ask you, if you can, to provide provisions to those in Maui from this horrible fire that they have endured. I know our board president, Stephen, had been to Hawaii. His sister had been to Maui. And it's just devastating for all of us who have ever been there to know how beautiful it was, and it will be again. And our thoughts and prayers go with those folks. And we are so grateful for what we have here and how well we are in charge of taking care of everything we have for our families, our community, and our nation. Amen. Would you please make a circle? And we'll do our following.
Yeah, we'll do our peace song and prayer for protection. Is anyone celebrating a birthday